Good evening. I'm Whitman Lanes, and thank you for joining us tonight. We've received quite a few interest letters regarding our interview with Ofu about the existence of humans a few broadcasts back. And it's become apparent that many of our watchers not only have a burning interest, but have had encounters with humans themselves. Since this subject has been so important to so many, the International TIBC Report team has made it a Priority 1 investigation. Before we discuss some of the accounts we have received via letter, we'd like to have a discussion about the mythology of greater beings than ourselves. Why do we long for such knowledge beyond the obvious or the observable? It seems that throughout history, these questions remain a subject of interest and repetitive inquiry. What's the meaning of life? Is there something bigger out there, an intelligence that surpasses our own? If it does exist, what types of interactions are taking place betwixt our world and theirs? What do they look like? And what are they like? Have they visited us before? Etc. To discuss these recurring questions, we've invited Dr. Lark Ofgust, whose study of the psyche is celebrated and documented in the area of this questioning. Dr. Ofgust, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, that is it. Well done.
Wonderful. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Yes, a pleasure.
Dr. Ofgust, before we delve into the existence of the so-called humans, what, in your opinion, drives this fixation in our imagination? This confidence that our suspicions are not dismissible?
Well, Whitman, as you stated in your opening, these questions have been present in the collective awareness of conscious biology as long as the recollection of such thought may be detected. As with many things that nudge our blind spots of perception, it is a rationale that is more sensed than evidently observable, so that we are left with a faulty sense of confidence that indeed something actually does exist, even though proving it is quite out of reach or abundantly elusive. However, the need to explore these areas and to pursue them is generated from the very same inquisitiveness that has produced some of the world's finest innovations. So from that vantage point, this drive to quench that thirst of suspicion is quite healthy, with or without empirical proof of said pursuit.
That's fascinating. So firstly, what this says to me is that continued beliefs of this nature are something that should not be treated as a byproduct of delusion.
Yes.
Even when proof is distant to none. Yep. Am I correct in that?
No, of course not. To the contrary, in fact. You see, when each of us were born into the world, it was already a functioning infrastructure or ecology or ecosystem, if you will. It did not need us to function, but some part of our unconscious was interconnected with this intricate network of functionality at birth. We were innately aware of the nomenclature of the world, and all that needed to be done from there was to explore it with the assistance of our guardians.
Okay.
But where did such confidence originate? Who told us to strive, to communicate, or to do such things? So without going into great detail about this, let's just agree that by definition, the concept of a world before our existence, which also houses the capacity for our awareness of it to be included once present to witness, is in fact where we derive the concept of something bigger or larger than ourselves to be an absolute truth, even in the absence of a conclusive description of it.
Yes, I see, Dr. Ofgust.
Yes.
Taking into account that according to your description, we innately believe in something bigger than ourselves, is it the imagination that attempts to give that a form? In other words, which comes first, the evidence or the idea? we're well aware that the mind can often attempt to shape facts towards preference rather than actuality.
Quite right, quite right. Our desire for proof is often challenged by the tendency towards invisible qualities from the things we'd very much like to see. In these cases, the process of research must be adhered to as a balance for the impatience of our collective intuition or hunches. Yes?
Yes, I would think so. Otherwise, the existence of old St. Beetlebug might just be a justified debate during the holidays with little ones.
Quite right, Whitman. But you see, this also illuminates my previous point. Old St. Beetlebug, as you call him, though obviously an embellishment for the sake of youthful wonder and excitement, is based on the factual existence of a real saint. Because life is an infinite thing, we often forget that the emotions we feel as the result of a great impact by an individual or occurrence causes us to keep its flame alive once extinguished.
Ah, yes, I see what you mean. Like fans who try and keep an entertainer alive with alleged sightings and such.
Yes, precisely. It's not the individual who must be immortal, but the effect of their existence upon our collective awareness that must be preserved, despite any evidence to the contrary. This is what it means to be affected by intangible things that define our sense of self within specific periods of time or generations.
Dr. Aufgust, this is such a fascinating discussion, but we are out of time for this episode.
Yes, of course. I quite understand. We must continue.
Dr. Aufgust will join us again next week to continue this enlightening conversation. We hope you will come back for the next part of this exploration. Be certain to purchase Dr. Aufgust's latest book, The Infinite Mind of the Beating Wing: What Forms the Cocoon. I'm Whitman Lanes. Good night.